A real one.
To DU.
Good afternoon, Colorado. Good afternoon, everybody listening outside of Colorado. If you're out there, man, it is a great afternoon. Absolutely love it. If you're driving, I've heard the traffic is just awful, horrible. So, yeah, just sit back, relax, listen to us talk because we have a great interview coming up. He's been on the program here before. Financial wealth advisor and vice president at Farther. We have Herbert. How's it going, Herbert?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing well.
Nice to be with you both today, and excited to talk about everything wealth management, technology, and
Yeah, and we were just talking about music, and we need bringing back music in the schools and everything like that.
music definitely needs to be back in the schools. I will die on that hill because it inspires creative, logical, and critical thinking that I think we can all agree is sort of missing in society today. So if there's a vote that comes across your desk to say fund music, please do.
Yes, definitely do. And music is a lot of musicians are good at math. So
That's why I play chopsticks.
nice. I like it. Ding
I'm
ding ding ding
so
ding ding
bad
ding.
at math.
Have you ever done it on the floor piano, like in the movie
Oh,
Big?
yes.
You have.
Not Toys R
FAO
Us.
Schwartz.
FAO Schwartz.
FAO Schwartz in New York. Is
Yes.
that place still even around though?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think it
But
closed down.
You know what? Toys R Us is actually coming back. I just saw it.
Ooh, I saw one in a Macy's.
There you go. They're making a revival.
I want to be a Toys R Us kid again.
Now you can.
Right in time for the holidays.
Exactly.
Right. That was good
Yeah.
marketing.
What was the one where it turned the frown upside down?
I don't know.
I think
Was that
that was
Mr.
KB
Potato Head?
Toys. Yeah, the little kangaroo turned the frown
yeah.
upside down. Remember that?
I thought you were talking about literally Mr. Potato Head. How you could just take a piece and
I'm like, what
tweak
are you?
it.
Did you have a Mr. Potato Head?
No, but I knew some kids who did. I had a single little match car box toy thing, and I had a carpet, and I would just drive it around in circles for hours on end while my mom stared, wondering if I could still be entertained. And I was.
Yeah.
I was.
Yeah. Oh, those Matchbox cars, I could play with those for hours.
Oh, I had one.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
I'm very
That's-
particular about. I got the one I like, and that's the one I went with. Same way with clothes. I got the clothes that I like, and that's what I wear until someone literally, usually my wife, goes, Herbert, you can't wear those pants anymore. You've worn them every week for the past 3 years. The color's going away. I'm like, but they're comfortable. And then imagine I get pulled out. I angrily walk around the store because I have no patience. And then I love the clothes that are purchased. And, I'm too stubborn to learn, I guess.
Well, then you can still use the older ones on like a Saturday or Sunday. Especially
Yeah,
if they're
yeah, or they
comfy.
just throw 'em out.
Or
When
they-
you're painting or,
Yeah. Or they get donated.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's something. Donate them to Goodwill.
For sure.
Yeah.
Your
Well,
wife sounds
yes.
very patient.
Yes. Yes.
That was an awesome response. Yes.
Yes. to deal with me.
Absolutely.
Yes.
God love patient women. Mm-hmm. It's a nice thing to have.
It is. That
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, okay. So for those that are listening, thank you for tuning in to
Yeah.
Q4CO Radio. If you are in front of your tablet, your phone, or your computer, would like to jump on our social media and look at our beautiful faces, please do so. We're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube, and everyone is definitely worried about their wealth, right? And it's
One of the
real-
biggest stressors in life, I believe.
It for sure is. Everyone is looking, how do I retire at a certain age? And especially there are choices for financial advisors. And, we talked about this a couple days ago, of course, off air. And there are some really great ones and some not really great ones. And so it's nice for someone to educate their clients effectively. And times have shifted, right? Even in the last couple years, let alone a couple decades. So I love what Farther does is they integrate AI and technology. That's a big part of your platform. So did you want to start there, how those two kind of marry and merge together?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, AI is the hot button for everything, right? You can literally create a website called toysrus.com, but if you make toysrusai.com, then apparently it's the most valuable and craziest thing ever, right? But AI and technology are different, right? Artificial intelligence is really more of like what powers a platform, right? Hopefully making it operate more efficiently, more quickly, more responsibly, as long as you're responsible with it. And then technology is, the use of a software or hardware to deliver it. So, when, at least personally, when I think about AI and technology, right? Excuse me, you're using artificial intelligence to gather data more quickly, to piece it all together, to research information that is already published, is already vetted, is already accurate, and find the answer more quickly and tie it together. And then when you're using the artificial intelligence to tie it all together, the technology is now just delivering it more efficiently, more eloquently, and quite honestly, more desirably. I think back to when I first started out as an advisor, right? So this is like 2014. I just graduated college, and 3 days later, I was a financial advisor, right? And when I would put some of those financial plans together for the first 2-3 years of my career, I was literally using pen and paper, right? I would draw out these boxes of the accounts that you had and the amount. That I draw a line down saying this is where it's going to go and combine it all. And then I draw another line that showed like this is how much income you're going to get. This is where your expenses are going to come from. And people love that one-page plan because it was so simple, so easy. But in the background of creating that was a tremendous amount of frustration in math, right? And it wasn't very malleable. If I'm sitting there with you as a client, you're like, well, Herbert, what would it look like if our returns were 5% annualized, or if our expenses went up by $500 per month? There was really no way for me to adjust that on the fly. Like, I could say, hey,
I'll get back to you next week.
Yeah, I'll get back to you next week about that. That really clouds decision making and causes a lot more emotional stress, because now you're sitting there for another week, waking up in the middle of the night, like, oh, what if our expenses go up by $500 a month? What if this happens? Well, Herbert says he's going to come back in a week and draw it out for us. Well, what if it goes up by $750? Ooh, he's coming tomorrow, and we didn't ask him to create a $750 a month scenario. When you're using technology responsibly, all it is just one nicer looking Excel spreadsheet that allows you to say, okay, change from 500 to 750. This is what it looks like.
Right.
So, that's really what artificial intelligence and technology is to me. It's allowing me to deliver a better client experience, and also be able to get you over the hurdle or the obstacle of making a decision, and providing you with the advice and guidance that you need to make an informed decision, but at your pace, right? So if you want to make it now, cool, we'll update it. If you want to give yourself 2 or 3 weeks, I'll just open up the platform so that way you can go on and move around a bunch of widgets and do it on your own time.
Right, exactly. Well, you bring up a good point. I think most people, and maybe I should just talk for me. I can't talk for most people.
You can talk for me.
For you, perfect. Okay, so for Josh and I, we want something really efficient, something super easy to use, and we usually want things a little quicker, right? Like you said, and that wasn't that long ago. About 10 years ago, it really was. I remember my accounting class. It was painful. There's different columns and very drawn out and long division. It was like, oh my gosh, I'm a press the button and have it be done type of gal. But to have it that it's really at your disposal, because most people have different products, right? You have your savings, checkings, trust, IRA, retirement account, and then your kids' accounts, your college, all of this different stuff going on. So to have the really easy platform to use it.
That integrates it all.
Right, exactly. So you can see it all. And, Josh and I were talking about that today, that AI, when used responsibly, and that's true for anything and everything on planet Earth.
It's true for eating chocolate. If you eat too much chocolate, you're going to get a bellyache and some cavities.
Well, true.
If you eat chocolate responsibly, it can actually, I believe, lower your blood pressure.
Exactly, right? Same thing across the board. But then it's also good. So you have AI, you have technology, you have a platform that's efficient, easy, has all of your products and services there, and you have a wealth advisor too. And I think it's really important to not lose the personal relationship component of it all, because I think a lot of people do fall into the trap of I can manage it myself. I hear that a lot in today's world, is I can do this myself. I'm like, there's a reason why people go to school for this exact thing, and they have it as their job and their professionals. So I guess leading into that, because people do have different choices of financial institutions and wealth advisors. What makes Farther stand out other than, of course, the technology component?
And me.
And you,
And you,
of course.
Yeah.
But versus kind of on the big scheme of thing, Farther versus other institutions.
Well, I think what makes Farther and, like my practice and our other advisory practices truly stand out is that the human hasn't been replaced and will not be, right? So when you're using technology, you're researching, you're data gathering, you're understanding, you're communicating, you're doing all those things in as efficient of a manner that you can. But then you're just bringing it to the table and you're helping someone make a decision, right? So the technology allows you to streamline the process, make it easy to engage, overcome a lot of those traditional barriers and obstacles that we face to make decisions that really should be simple, right? But then it stops. It stops at this human. And this human is not the advisor. This human is the client, right? It's these people and it's the clients and the individuals and the families and the institutions that have a specific mission or set of goals in mind. And when it stops there, it says, hey, this is what it looks like. This is what you should do. Do you agree? How do you feel about this? What's your fear around it? For instance, like I was actually speaking with a client actually right before I got in the car to come here, and the fear was, what if we run out of money? Right? Like that's it. Like what if we run out and I'm now 80 and have to leave the beach to go back to work? Well, here's how we manage a scenario of a major market downturn. Here's how we manage a scenario of lower than expected returns. Here's how we manage your cash, right? Because they're freaking out about buying a new car because it's just another large expense, but they're facing, another year or two, they're not going to have that income coming in from their paycheck. They've got to recreate it. So when you're using technology appropriately, it's like, hey, if these things happen, here's what it looks like. How do you feel? Do you feel like, because we could go this route for your investments, right? Would that make you more comfortable if we did that?
Right.
Because that brings me to the next point is by using the technology infrastructure appropriately, what you're able to do is offer clients better, quantitatively proven, better returns, right? When you've built your practice, your business, and your firm appropriately, you're able to say, hey, we can use this product, but we're not going to lock you in it for 5 years, right? Or, hey, you can use this portfolio, but it's going to be lower cost or better returns because we've stripped out a lot of those, frankly, unnecessary expenses from what you were doing. That was actually the conversation I had at 7:30 a.m.
No, and that's why,
downtime.
you are definitely selling the point why a person is super valuable to customize it, because everyone's, for your example, retirement looks very different. Do you want to stay in your home or do you want to go into a living facility? Do you want to be traveling the world? What age do you want to retire? What is your family situation?
Watch Family Feud for the rest of
Exactly.
your life and relax because you deserve it.
Well, I think the biggest one is, well, we know what Josh wants to do. And I love Family Feud, by the way.
Pretty right on.
Hey, Steve Harvey is amazing. So.
Actually, my god sister was Steve Harvey's assistant producer.
Nice.
Yeah,
cool.
I still haven't gotten to meet him. Jasmine, if you're watching, I hope I do.
Come on, Jasmine,
but he's
make
supposed
it
to be a nice guy. Yeah. But the point you bring up is very interesting because many times someone's idea of retirement is actually still working, but just doing something that they truly enjoy, whether it's volunteering, which means you get no pay, whether it's coaching somewhere, so maybe you're getting less pay, or maybe they want to take a break, reevaluate their life, spend time with their kids or loved ones, and then maybe they want to start some sort of mission-driven, not-for-profit or a business or just something they're passionate about, and that's where another intersection of technology can help make that happen. Because you go back to 2016, 17. I do argue LinkedIn was better back then. But there's more as many people on it. So now, with technology again, you're able to connect with all these different resources that you learn about through their postings and their marketing, and you're able to work with external partners when you find a scenario. I mean, I think back to I had a client who needed to leave her employment the other month, right? And it just wasn't. It was a deteriorating scenario for her, and she had some questions. Well, I follow this guy called Dan Goodman, right? He's like the employment or employee advocate, right, for resignations, terminations, wrongful performance incentive plans, or whatever. And because I'd been following him, because I had met with him before, I was like, oh, hey, we got to talk to this Dan Goodman guy. I got his link right here to a calendar. Should we put you on there? Would have never known about him in 2017 because he wouldn't have been marketing on LinkedIn. He would have been in a different place than where I was. Therefore, I would not know about Dan, right? Because of technology, because of connecting people, I knew who Dan was. I calmed her down right on the spot. We got on the calendar. She had a conversation.
For sure. And you've told me, two things I want to mention. A plug for you personally and for Farther. So for those of you that don't know, Herbert's very involved in the community and like chamber work. We'll get into nonprofit stuff but this is about like you personally. So what you told Josh and I, which I'm going to brag about you for a minute here. You went through lots of different interviews with different financial institutions.
156 to be exact.
156. I wasn't going to say the number, but you did. And that speaks to you and how much you were kind of vetting the right institution. And when it comes to wealth advising, yes, I think that's correct. It matters where you go.
Yes.
It really does, because you do have choices, and to have people really have the relationship and be able to customize. I think that's also missing in today's blanket world of this IRA is perfect for you. This retirement is awesome. And it's not how we are today. So, that is definitely a wonderful attribute to you.
Thank you.
That you really care about where you are because you care about the people.
Well, yeah, it comes down to, I'll never forget when my godfather told me this. He goes, look, Herbert, technically you're in sales. I'm like, yeah, I am, right? And he goes, the toughest thing you're going to face is that you're going to have a car payment due in the back of your mind and a client in front of you. And you need to separate that car payment from what the client needs, right? Yeah. And if what the client needs isn't what you offer, or, maybe it's not the right time and it needs to be a no, but we'll talk later, because you can't force it on them, right? You've got to act in their best interest and not focus on your car payment.
Right.
That's really stuck with me this entire time, is like, hey, I got my personal responsibilities, but those are my personal responsibilities. They are not the clients.
Right.
And when you're at the right firm or on the right team or running your own business the right way, if you take that approach, you aren't always gonna win the business, or you may have earned it, but you don't necessarily win it. But when you focus on doing the right thing and you have a repeatable process that is focused on the person in front of you, it always ends up working out. Sometimes it's a little bit of a wild roller coaster, but it ends up working out.
For sure. And I agree, I've been in the nonprofit world a lot, and we talk about the relationship piece. Even for-profit, nonprofit, that's really what makes people stand out. We had an interview earlier, and that was exactly what we focused on. It's about the relationship, it's about the person in front of you. And if it truly is, hey, I have to earn X amount today, then you're not going to have a great business, is what I find when people are after the bottom line. So let's say even if someone doesn't invest with you, if they had a great experience, they're for sure going to talk about it. They're going to go tell all of their friends and say, you know what, this guy did right by me. So you have whatever you have, and it's
actually there's an advisor. His name's Tony out of California at Farther, or Anthony Danaher, I believe is what he professionally goes by. But,
Tony.
I know, actually. But he has a really good story he always shares, where he helped a client make a decision around an investment that he knew was in their best interest, and it wasn't the right time to work with him, right? And then 3 or 4 years later, guy shows back up, gives him a call, and he's like, hey, I'm ready to work with you, right? Biggest client today.
completely.
If he'd gone for the hard sell, right? Well, probably would have been a client today.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm thinking about real estate now completely. If it's not the right time for the person, but they remember, oh, I really liked you, they will remember that interaction and be like, yeah, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years later, it's about the relationship building completely. So cool.
I actually have a question that I wasn't going to ask, but you started talking about the speed of things, the technology, where you wouldn't have known this person back in the day, whereas now we know in an instant. The market from I used to work with a bunch of advisors professionally in my job, and they always used to tell me that the market just wants to be the market, and it's us who mess up the market.
Yes.
You agree with that?
Absolutely.
All right. So, do you think technology and the speed at which that we get things make the market more volatile?
Yes, and it's not necessarily the speed of trading. I mean, that's a factor and such, but it's the speed of information.
Information, right? That's what I was getting at.
Yeah, and think about it this way. People say, "Oh, I like real estate investing because it doesn't fluctuate." Every day, the value of your home fluctuates,
yeah.
but you don't see it on a public exchange,
Right.
Right? Versus on a public exchange, I mean, you just watch Apple just go like this all day, and people are like, "I don't see how that makes sense." There's some trading things in there, but
all the
it's
time.
because you see it, and I would say that's actually kind of one downside of technology is people are looking at their phones, they can check their accounts.
They do. It creates fear, anxiety.
It does.
It can a lot of times.
But that's also where the human component comes in, right?
Right.
Being able to call someone, whether it's your advisor or your brother, right? Like, it doesn't really matter. But being able to call someone and balance out the emotions, like confirm that you're making the right decision by not doing anything, there's definitely a big bonus to that. Where technology comes back in to make it easier is, if this was 2016, 17, I did not have my phone connected to my CRM system, which was right there in front of me. Like, it was pick up a phone, dial, talk, close, look for phone number, pick up a phone, dial, talk, close, look for phone number. Versus now, you can send out a quick email blast saying, "Hey, I'll reach out to you this week."
Right.
That's now calmed down everyone. Like, "Oh, Herbert's going to call. Maybe on Thursday, maybe on Friday. I don't know, but he'll call." Then you have a conversation. They can schedule time on your calendar link to have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
It's much easier to be able to engage with the professionals that you trust. And knowing that you have a 15-minute conversation on the calendar can actually be all the peace of mind you need.
Right.
Right? Or just seeing an email pop, "Herbert's thinking about you. I will get to you." "Oh, okay, everything's fine. Nothing changed in the markets." But you were contacted, so it's like, okay, someone's watching over this.
For sure. Speaking of, I wanted to make sure for those of you that just jumped in, we have Herbert Kyles with us, and he works for Farther. His phone number is 508-978-9995, and email is herbert.kyles, Kyles, at farther.com. So definitely email him. He is your guy. The amount of education, I mean, we've had him in before, and I'm so blown away at the knowledge that you have of this industry. Truly, I've never met a guy that just knows the ins and outs of every wealth product that is possibly out there, which is amazing because sometimes people can throw you a curveball, for sure. And so definitely reach out, have a human being, and you can go to farther.com. There's for advisors, for clients, for institutions, news, all of the good stuff. Talking about wealth, unless you had another question before I went into this, because we're talking a lot about retirement. And this has come up a lot. Maybe it's because of our generation. We're kind of the sandwich generation. I've never heard that until the past couple of years, where we're taking care of maybe our parents, and then we're also raising kids as well.
I like sandwiches.
Sandwiches. I like sandwiches too. So to talk about the generational wealth, right? A lot of times you have, because we have our baby boomers, right? And then you have the first wealth generation who maybe started their own company, gets $2 million. And then how do you have the generational wealth? And it comes into, I think, education, but how do you advise kind of preserving the wealth within the different generations?
Well, the first piece is always education, right? You've got, we'll just use grandma, grandpa, mom, dad, and kiddos, right? Just to keep it easy. So each generation has different values, has different life experiences. They could all lead to being the same life experience, but grandma and grandpa are just a little bit older, right? And when you get to that stage of life where you're comfortable and kind of know what you have, I find that the grandparents, they kind of, it's not that they don't know what to do, right? They have an idea in mind, but they maybe have a little bit of less energy to take action, right?
Okay.
So
That's a very sweet way of saying it.
it is.
They're tired. They want a nap.
Yeah. So a lot of times they kind of want someone to guide them as to what to do, but then also implement it for them, right? I mean, if you think about it, that generation, could you have ever in 1946 anticipated the iPhone?
No.
No.
I told my kid in 1980 I couldn't have anticipated the iPhone.
I was talking to another advisor out of Tennessee on our team, and he's been in this business since the 80s, right? And when we were going through the platform, because he had some portfolio stuff he wanted to implement, and was like, Herbert, I'm clicking around this thing, but you got a minute just to show me how you're doing it? And he just started laughing because he got a phone call from one of the people who started out as a broker with back in, literally, I think in like 1983. And they were laughing because he goes, I could have never envisioned that I would be writing something on this thing called a computer and sending it out, and people would respond and want to work with me, right? Because they had a landline, and because they didn't generate enough fees, they were required to share a landline together. And they had this book where they called people, and people picked up the phone because there was no caller ID, and then yelled at them because they interrupted dinner, right? And then they hung up and they moved on to the next. That was called prospecting, right? Versus today's, he's sitting there like, post. Oh, 500 people saw my last one. That's kind of cool.
Right. It is very different. You bring up a really good point because we don't know what we don't know. So how on earth are we in this? So hopefully we'll be here in 40 years. How do you plan for something that's so unknown because it's changed drastically in 40 years, which is, relatively speaking, a pretty short period of time, especially with technology?
Yeah. I mean, how you plan around it is you take the time to understand the grandparents and what their real goals are, like emotionally. What do they want to see their children do? What are the concerns around their children? What are the concerns around themselves, right? And then you plan out around it, obviously using financial planning software, but it's really those emotional inputs that determine how things should be structured, what they should do with their estate plan, what they should do with their health insurance, what they should be doing with their property and casualty insurance, things of that nature. And then once you understand that, you move on to the next generation. You figure out the nuances around working with the kids because the grandparents might be like, we want to give it all to them and then hope they don't give it away. And then the kids might be like, actually, we don't need any of this. So we just want to make sure it goes to the kids. Like, thank you, but like bypass it.
Right.
So then as you move on to the kids to understand what their goals are, their desires, needs, wants, wishes, struggles, things of that nature, you can then connect the dots to A to B, right? To between those two generations. And then you got to take a deeper look at the kids. What are their interests, hobbies, concerns, things of that nature. I'll give you an example. I had at a previous firm, I had one household that all lived together, right? It was linear. Mom took care of grandpa, then also oversaw her child, right? And she literally had to quit work. That was the only way to do it, right? Grandpa felt really bad, but grandpa wasn't going into a home, right? And what he did was he was like, let me, pay my daughter for this and recreate her salary and income. But because of how the investments are structured, terrified of taxes, right? And what we did was we were able to do some gifting to reduce or eliminate the tax burden for him, but also because of how her investments were structured, little to no tax implications for her as well too. So it allowed him to, replace his daughter's income so that way, he could kind of like pay her for, helping him. So he no longer felt like a burden, and she was really happy because she wasn't financially stressed. But then you had her son, right? Her son was kind of like, I don't want to say drifting through life, but just he was in his 20s. He was trying to figure things out. He'd gone to school, left school. and really good person, but just like
Yeah,
trying to find something. He found it, right? He was working at this electronics store and just dove right into semiconductors and building computers and loved it, but was not the right fit for your traditional four-year university, right? And so, what we did there was Grandpa created kind of like a family rule book. If you go and learn these things at school, if you go and do this, then I will provide you with the opportunity to open up a store,
Right.
right? So we fast forward, he does it. He learns how to operate a business and those types of things by going to the community college because it was a good one. The courses were great. He learned all of it. He started working at a small business, right? Now, the small business was not going through like I would call a cash crunch, right? The guy wanted to exit. He wanted to sell. He didn't know about the valuation of his business, right? But he was kind of done. So the son was stuck running a small business for about a year and a half that he didn't own, right? And in the meantime, Grandpa's investments kept growing. So what he was able to do was we worked together with the business owner to create a valuation and work with his business broker so he had representation. Grandpa was able to buy the business, right, which he loved doing. Mom was able to step in and like actually kind of help run the business, which was a good break from caring for Grandpa all the time, right?
Yeah.
So she felt more empowered, and now they had a family business. You were able to structure a generational wealth plan specifically catered to that family
Right.
that AI could not produce. Technology could communicate, though, but it took getting the family on board and understanding them on an emotional level to be able to create that opportunity. I mean, that business is still thriving today.
I love that. You bring up such a good point. It is the emotional component that technology, we can't regulate that type of stuff. And it's different conversations and questions that humans, from knowing people and having the emotional connection, can know how to ask.
Yeah.
Where AI and technology can't come in. There's one other example, again, that I wanted to talk about, because again, this goes back to Farther and to you as a person. It was a scenario where someone had written something along the trust documents.
Ooh, yes.
And it was written incorrectly.
Yep.
And this was not through Farther, just so people know this. And they didn't have a third party look at it.
No. They did
So
not.
I want to stress this as this has happened to me personally through family decisions where it's always good to have multiple people look at it.
Yeah.
Especially if it's one firm. Just have another set of eyeballs take a look at that. I don't know if you wanted to go in details. You can do kind of broad strokes.
Oh yeah, this
but-
one would be too complex for details, but I can give you the straight and narrow, simple and easy.
Give
Okay.
us the Cliff's Notes.
Yes.
Cliff notes. All right. So you have mom and dad. They came from like a working class background. The both of them. They built this wonderful business and sold it for more money than they could have ever imagined. Right? They were absolutely not going to spend it. They lived a very normal lifestyle, and it just kind of happened from hard work. So they go to a prominent firm, right, in the area. You've seen their brand name everywhere, and they feel like, okay, I mean, this is where all the wealthy people go. They probably know how to do it right. So they trusted them, and this firm put all the documents together and delivered to them in immediate time. Like they met with them on Monday on like the first of the month. And by the 30th of the month, everything was signed, set, sealed, delivered. They were off on this wonderful retirement journey after selling their business. Well, fast forward, a year or so later, the communication is broken down. They kind of feel like they were treated like, hey, we brought a bunch of money, it's there, and now we don't talk to you.
Right.
So they went to get a second opinion on everything they did. They had taken notes. They said, like, this is what the trust was supposed to be structured like. This is what was supposed to happen. And that the new firm that they were going to said, let's bring in some outside console and subject matter experts on this. We'll cover the cost, by the way, but let's really make sure this was done right. It was not done right. What ended up happening, because no one used subject matter experts when it was created, was they technically gave all of their money away to their kids. All of it. Like 100% of the amount of money the business was sold for.
Had no control over it.
Zero control. It was under their assumption, and what was explained to them was that they controlled the trust. They could take their distributions to, finance their lifestyle and live off of it, and that it would just pass on to the kids, avoid probate, and just be structured so that way they could enjoy their lives. Well, a few sentences were left out of there. One specifically. And what it really did was they gifted all the money to their kids. And of their 3 kids, if one of them said no, mom and dad couldn't get any money.
I so
Zero.
wish that happened to me. I'd still throw them a bone every once in a while.
Well, yeah, here's some Taco Bell money, and
Thankfully for
But,
them,
yeah.
their kids
Kids
were,
are
they were all in
great.
agreement. They understood. They're like, we got to make sure mom and dad get their money.
They lucked out. Not every,
But they also found
you
out
never
that
know.
trust reporting was entirely just not being done,
Yeah.
which left them liable. What they also found out was that since it was really on their balance sheet, if they walked outside and their dog bit the neighbor, more than likely a lawsuit wouldn't end up affecting the trust, but it could.
Mm-hmm.
And they had no property and casualty insurance to protect this liability.
Right.
So, kids all went out and got best in class property and casualty insurance based on their specific, family setup. Parents just keep probably hoping every year that check comes through, but it does. But that just shows when you don't bring in subject matter experts in real consultation, when you're just doing documents to do them, right, and satisfy a client experience, when you do it wrong, it can have real consequences.
I agree. I'm thinking about doctors, go get a second and third opinion.
Yeah.
And just have other people take a look at whatever's going on, because you don't know. You need to really assess the situation. And it's the same thing with your money is your biggest assets that you will ever have. It controls cars, homes, retirement, lifestyle, children. It's so involved. So to have an expert and have third
and
party
it's tough
involved.
because when you're having these client conversations, you're like, hey, we should bring in a CPA to look this. We should bring in an attorney to look this. Like, yeah, but then we might have to pay them or whatnot. It's like, no. We should pay them, right?
Yeah.
Like we should get the best opinion we can because
Right.
in the end, we know a lot of stuff, right? As advisors, we can be very helpful, but we don't know everything.
Right.
So it's not necessarily that you always need that outside opinion every single time you meet. Yes, that would be obnoxious. But when you're crafting that initial estate plan, when you're looking through something a little bit more complex from a tax perspective, you should ask what outside resources are you using? And the advisor should either be able to provide the answer, right, or show who they're working with. But there should be no questions asked. If you want a second opinion, or if the advisor suggests a second opinion, do the second opinion.
Right.
The worst thing that happens is it was all done right.
Correct. And I would rather have the assurance. That's
Yeah.
why you have an insurance agent and someone that looks at just estate wills. There's all these different specialties, and it's important, I think, to have people look it over.
And all
Especially
the
if it's-
professionals should be working together because there's nothing worse than when I send the CPA the ninth email and they're like, well, why do I need to talk to you? It's like, you don't need to talk to me as a person. I don't care about getting a beer with you, but they need us to
Work
talk. I will
together.
make it as easy for you as possible, but you need to pick up the phone or we use my Calendly link. I don't really care, but let's just get 15 minutes together to make sure we're all on the same page.
For sure.
Right.
No, it's very important. In a situation like that, if someone is listening and going, oh, I actually need to have a second opinion, especially with a wealth advisor, if there is an like the situation that you were just talking about, can you actually reverse it? Can you cancel that and redo it?
A lot of times you can.
Okay.
Sometimes there's some kind of consequences associated with it from a tax perspective. Maybe you need to get some returns redone or something like that. But many times you can. I think the most crucial point that a lot of people do actually miss, ironically, is this is why you do your annual or your quarterly or your 3 times per year reviews. You do it to catch this stuff, and if something was done on Monday, January 1st, don't wait until December 15th to try to fix it. Let's look at it in April or
Right.
May, right?
So you can procrastinate a little bit.
You can procrastinate
just
a little
not a lot. Yeah.
Which is not a lot, right?
Exactly.
I mean, there are some things that are irreversible, right? Like there are, but a lot of times when you get into something that's truly irreversible, like you kind of know about that up front.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Right.
And I agree with you doing checkups. I think a lot of time it's like insurance is another good example. You do it and then you forget about it. And your life can change drastically within even 1 year. You know, people come in, people come out, you're moving, things are changing, you're bringing more assets, less assets. So definitely it is good, I think, to take a look at your finances at least twice or 3 times a year.
You only need about 15 minutes. Like it's just a quick phone call. Hey, has anything changed out? Okay. I mean, the advisor can a lot of times just do it on the back end. Like, hey, Herbert, this changed. Okay, cool. Let me take a look at it. Then we'll schedule some time in September. And unless something like stares out, like if you're like, hey, Herbert, we don't have any income anymore and we need to live off our investments. Like, okay, that necessitates probably a greater, like a more quick discussion. But if it's like, oh yeah, we're thinking about buying a boat. Okay, cool. Like, I'll take a look at it and, just let me know the price that you're thinking about. I'll adjust some numbers on the back end. And then whenever you're ready, let's have a conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course. And there are fluctuations in the market too.
Yeah.
I mean, especially I know a lot of people who are quote unquote savvy or think that they're savvy.
Yeah.
I'll throw a family member under the bus here. He thinks he is. He's not. So I'm glad that he works with someone, who knows what they're talking about.
Well, I would say the biggest point is, and I heard this one time, there's no such thing as a self-directed, investor or financial, like you cannot be self-directed, right? The real crux of it is, okay, so I've never said this publicly, so if I butcher it, I apologize.
We're recording this, don't worry.
Okay, good. There are 3 keys to deciding if you should work with an advisor. Time, knowledge, and desire, right? If you don't have the time to do it, but you have the knowledge and desire, you should consider working with an advisor. That's like you interview and find one. Mm-hmm. If you're missing 2 of those, though, right? If you have the time, but you don't have the desire and the knowledge, or if you have the knowledge, but you don't have the desire and the time, you need to have a wealth advisor, right? If you have the time, if you have the knowledge, and you have the desire, then you don't necessarily need a wealth advisor, but you do need a platform, right? And that platform is what provides you with the research, what provides you with the execution, the implementation. It provides you with the knowledge. It makes it so that way you can do it within the time that you've allotted. And if you have the desire, you can find that information.
Right.
And that means that like it's on you to make decisions and research them. And that's, people say like, you should hire an advisor if you have equity compensation. You should have, no, it's pretty simple. Time, desire, knowledge. If you are missing one of those, then it's time to interview an advisor. If you're missing 2 of those, you should have gotten an advisor yesterday.
And if you're missing all 3 of them?
Well, if you're missing all 3 of them, like you got to delegate that. Like it's like you're talking about your life here.
There's like red alarms,
Yeah.
smoke coming out of the ears. Like get
Like
someone
from every
who-
science fiction movie.
Yeah.
When a
Yeah.
planet's about to blow up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
and I'm sure there is like a lot of times when people all of a sudden inherit a lot of money. And it's like, oh my gosh, I have no idea what to do.
Knowledge.
And you're missing, well, a lot of times you're missing all 3 of those. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, and then for sure, for those people, because if you win the lottery, because 2 people just won, right? The really big payout. Get a wealth advisor. I am so floored by how many times people claim bankruptcy that have won the lottery. It's like,
Right.
oh my
yeah.
God.
They just
I'm
Nicolas
like,
Cage
oh,
everything.
It's like, right?
Yeah.
You go and buy a yacht and a couple islands. I'm like, dude, you're working at Gap. What are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
it's so strange to me. I use Gap because I legitimately worked at the Gap.
Oh, you did?
I can throw myself, back in my high school days.
I worked at Hollister for 1 week.
1 week?
Yes.
Man.
That's
I worked
awesome.
at Ghost Armor, which was a kiosk across from Hollister.
Okay.
And I was terrible at putting the Ghost Armor on the cell phones, but I was pretty good at selling it. But then, he needed to cut down to 1 person. So my buddy who was good at installing the Ghost Armor stayed. I had to go across the street to Hollister. Then sales picked up and, he was installing it but couldn't talk to anyone. So then I got hired back.
Oh, I see.
And
And it was across from the Orange Julius.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
So, like, that was probably where I would
These are the
say
good old days.
10 to 20% of my paycheck went to Orange Julius.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah, a lot
So
of
I would
mine
just
went back.
have Orange Julius's and talk to people about Ghost Armor all day. It was a wonderful little job.
Right? Those were like, oh my gosh, I feel so old. Those were the simple times, you know.
Oh yeah.
I think they still have an
Definitely.
Orange Julius in the DQ at Park Meadows Mall.
Ooh, do they really? Okay,
I
we're
think
gonna have
so.
to go to
You're
the
gonna-
food.
I
You
mean, they
have
got
to go.
Chipotle, they got Sbarro, they got this like little pretzel stand thing that looked pretty good. It's next to the Dick's. You got Dick's, a whole bunch of stuff, and in the back corner there's a DQ, which I believe has an Orange Julius inside it.
Okay, for those that are listening and or watching and I'm curious if that is still there. 'Cause,
Corner of
man,
Dick's, yep.
An Orange Julius sounds pretty good. I go for the not the ice cream, but the
Smoothie.
No, what do I eat? The cookie dough.
Oh, cookie dough
The
stuff.
cookie dough kiosk
Yeah.
is delicious.
Yeah.
It's
It-
wonderful.
It amazes me. Have you been there to Park Meadows? They have a cookie dough kiosk where you just
I
all
did
these
not
different
notice
types
the
of cookie dough.
kiosk.
Yeah, and it's like a a tablespoon of cookie dough for like $8.
It's a little more than a tablespoon. It's
nuts.
so good though.
Really?
So good.
Oh, man.
Highly recommend it.
Next time I'm there, I will hit up cookie dough.
Good.
And I'll think about you.
Really good. Please do.
Yeah.
Definitely do.
Yeah, they have lots of different flavors too.
Oh, it's like
And they-
Baskin Robbins.
Not as
cookie
many.
dough.
Not as many flavors as Baskin.
I mean, how
Robbins.
many flavors of cookie dough could you possibly? I
I
mean, I guess you
think
could
they
have a
at
bunch.
You
least.
could have
They
a
probably have
bunch,
8.
Ooh, that'd be cool. They had orange cookie dough because Halloween's coming up.
Oh, okay. There's a plug.
There you go.
I love it.
All right, let's stop by it.
Very good.
Yeah. I did want to make sure to say I'm sorry about the Chiefs, the Kansas City Chiefs. I know you're a big fan. We're of course not. You know, we live here, but you know, Denver Broncos and the Chiefs are 2-2. We're tied for it. I know it's not cool.
If Patrick Mahomes is listening to me, first, if you need wealth management advice, I'm happy to help you. But the second component to it is, look, Patrick, you always play your worst before you play your best, and you always play your best before you play your worst. So just stick to the routine, have faith. The Chiefs are going to win at least 5 games this year, mainly because I told Josh I believe they could win 5 games this year. Therefore, they need to win 5 games this year. 6 is just icing on the cake, but you need to win 5.
Are you saying 5 total or 5 additional right now? So 7.
You know what? I'm going to go with 5 additional ones just so that way they can win 7.
All right, I have a $1 bet with you. How's that?
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
sounds good. So Chiefs, keep doing what you're doing. Love it.
I despise the Chiefs. I have no problem that this is being recorded, and the Patriots. Zero love.
Well, yeah, you're
Zero.
Literally
you're a
the 2
Broncos
places
fan. Of
I've
course you
spent the
despise.
most time of my life, Kansas City and Boston.
And I am so sorry. I feel for you. I feel the pain.
Greater Boston was a nice place, quite expensive, but nice place to live. A lot of
no
great
knock
friends
on,
there.
No knock on Boston.
But we love Denver. You know, Colorado. Great decision to move here. Just an easier pace of life. Beautiful mountains, like 17 minutes from where we live. Like it's pretty sweet. Versus, you know, I mean, if you want to drive from Boston down to the Cape, I mean, unless
That's
you're waking
a
up
long
at 2:30 a.m. to attempt to avoid traffic, like you just don't go to the beach.
Yeah.
Or unless you go to
so
In
true.
Street Beach, but then, you don't necessarily want to swim in those.
Denver
waters.
is a beautiful spot. We're
Yes.
we're glad that you guys are here.
Denver is a beautiful spot.
Yes, it is. And you have the Broncos. You're welcome.
Yes.
And I won't talk about Kansas City just because if I went on and on for days, then Kansas City's population would like quadruple overnight because it is one of the greatest places in America, hands down. But I'm not going to say anything more because I don't want to overwhelm Kansas City. But
Oh, they can.
No,
please do.
move there. everybody. We have
I
enough
have
people in Colorado.
no problem
right
with
now.
that. None
stay
whatsoever.
away from Overland Park and Lenexa because when you visit, you won't want to go home.
Good. Move to Kansas City. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can still help people all over the nation, right?
Yeah, I can.
That's great. So all of you Denverites, if you want to move, that's
Yeah.
fine.
You
You
know,
can have
you can
Herbert
still have
on.
Herbert as your wealth advisor.
Exactly.
You know.
You can help out anywhere.
Oh, my mom
Exactly.
already doesn't like driving around in it enough. If so, then you're just going to overwhelm her. Like, let her
okay.
live her retirement peacefully.
I don't want to.
Kansas?
I don't want to hurt your mom. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then after that, I mean, my dad my dad is perfectly. He's going to do his exact same routine, whether there is 1 million people living in the neighborhood or one.
Watching
so he's
Family
fine.
Feud.
No. He has specific stores he likes to drive to and shop at, and they are spread throughout the Kansas City metropolitan area and slightly further. But my dad buys some of the coolest clothes ever. They are all different, and he's one of the few people I've ever seen that can take like this crazy looking jean blue jacket, a pair of Adidas's, some Adidas shorts, and a random shirt, put it all together and actually look great.
Cool.
Nice.
Never seen anything like it.
Yeah, I don't know about the shorts, but I'm with you on the rest.
Oh yeah, no, he
he can pull off.
That guy's an
Okay.
interesting sense of style, but he looks good.
That's awesome.
Some people can just pull it off.
Yeah,
you know?
well, that's where you get it from. You have great style.
No, I get this because my mom and my wife have really good style, and they're very particular about things. Which
Like it.
That's why things always come out perfect, right?
Okay.
So
Shout
they
out
kind
to
of
the
like
women again.
coach
I like
me.
it.
Otherwise, I would be still wearing Nordstrom Rack pants that I specifically like that are dark blue, and they fit very nicely. And before when I was a little bachelor, right, I wore the same Nordstrom Rack pants. I had multiple of them. Wore the same ones, and my friend Michael Oliveri can attest to this. Penguin socks and a penguin shirt because I really liked penguin, right?
Okay,
And then
nice.
I would wear brown shoes, kind of like these, right? But I had a very specific pair that I liked, and then when they would wear out, I would go buy new ones. They were
I
the
don't
exact same
think-
model.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with any of that.
I mean, it
Exactly.
made my shopping all of 8 minutes because I would just walk into Nordstrom Rack, get exactly what I wanted, and walk
Right?
out.
It's amazing. It's my wardrobe. I have jeans and t-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
Jeans and t-shirts. It's amazing. It's wonderful. I have 2 pairs of shoes,
Yeah.
golf shoes and regular shoes.
Oh, nice.
And actually 3. I have boots. Yep. So
Do you take your shoes in the car with you when you wear the boots? That way you can change when you get in the office.
no.
Oh.
What I leave the house wearing, that's what I'm wearing all day, no matter
My
what.
manager, when I worked at Schwab, he had the nicest shoe. Actually, that guy had really nice attire. But he had the nicest shoes ever. You want to know what his secret was? He had these shoe protectors that he would wear when walking in when the weather was bad, covered the whole thing. Like, what are these wild rubber things that you're wearing? Pulls them off. You're like, that's why. He's like, yeah, I've had these shoes for 20 years. They're perfect. Mint
Mad
condition.
props to my dad. He does that as well.
Yeah.
Especially when he's traveled a lot to Europe and it rains all the time. And he did the same thing. And man, he has some nice looking shoes.
Yeah.
So, kudos to do that. I don't have the patience, I think. I just wear everything out and then I donate or throw them away.
Yeah, and then just go buy more.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, you're
Exactly.
keeping the economy flowing.
That's true. I'm keeping all of the Goodwills and ARCs and all of the nonprofits stocked with, clothing and shoes. I know. We didn't even get into that. We have 5 minutes left.
Okay.
Do you want to talk quickly about your nonprofit involvement? Because this is super cool what you're doing too.
Yeah, so our institutional team is very heavy into this, and when you look through the not-for-profit world, it's tough, right? They're getting grants cut. They don't have access to funds, but there's still people in need that they serve, right?
Yep.
And what we found is a lot of the endowment or investment managers, they end up doing 3 things. One, they put you in these clunky investments you don't even necessarily understand that make no sense, right? But it's just that's the model portfolio. But then they stop there, right? And I think the difference maker of our team is, you'll have a portfolio you completely understand and that you can excommunicate whatever investments don't agree with the mission driven, right? Like you probably shouldn't have ExxonMobil in the portfolio if your not-for-profit is focused on protecting the environment. That doesn't really jive, right? But then you go a step further and you look at the strategic master plan, right? And these not-for-profits, you have a plan, you have a budget, you have goals, you have things you want to fund. And when you craft the portfolio correctly and you use the right providers, first off, 100% of that donation, minus any transaction costs, right? Stripe probably charges their $2.99 or something. That money ends up in your endowment. Very easy to set up. You just got to have an attorney, do the papers up, CPA do the audit, and it's done, right? But when it lands in that portfolio, instead of being given away to another provider who's going to return 4% of the money to you per year, which look, eggs went up by more than 4%. We need the cash for the food pantry. But when you align it with that master plan, those specific goals, you can create an endowment portfolio that's based on multi-generational wealth, right? And what that is these beneficiaries are going to be around 100 years. Hopefully, the not-for-profit's around 100 years. This portfolio needs to be designed to fund those 100-year initiatives and grow with inflation. And when you do that, you usually end up seeing a portfolio that's much different than what you see a lot of endowments or not-for-profits in. The Yale example, which David Darby on our team wrote about, they put a bunch of their portfolio into private market investments that were not liquid, and now they're having to sell them at a major discount. Not because they're bad, not because they didn't perform well, but the strategic master plan was not taken into account, and they did not anticipate cuts that were made, right? And some things you can anticipate, but it does beg the question that what works for Yale, because it's so large, should not be for the local food pantry's endowment portfolio. Like, they don't have that flexibility. They don't have that opportunity. Like, the endowment's just not big enough that if you were to borrow Yale's approach and put it in that portfolio, yeah, 1, 2, 3 years, the returns might look nice.
Right.
But when they run to those emergencies, they don't have the ability to market those assets or things of that nature. Like, it's just not there. So, if you're doing the planning appropriately for that mission-driven organization, then those investments never end up in there. But the portfolio can look a lot nicer, a lot cleaner, and most importantly, produce results for the beneficiaries that it's designed to serve. Right? And most investment managers don't ever make it to that point because they just focus on the investments. But quite honestly, if the mission is not served, then the money doesn't matter.
Oh, that's a good tagline. I really like that. It's so true. It's what everyone has something that drives them. Hopefully, I hope everyone has a passion or a mission that actually drives them. So it is so important. Herbert, thank you so much. I always learn so much about the financial wealth world when you come in and talk to us.
Yeah. No, and I always enjoy hanging out with you and talking to you, and it's the fun parts of my role, my career, and who I serve is having conversations like this and seeing people walk away feeling better and feeling more empowered. And then the downside of it is paperwork, right? But that's the great thing about Farther. They help me handle all of that. So
Right.
I'm happy that they take away a lot of the stresses. They're not even stresses. Like, paperwork's not stress, right? Who am I kidding? Grow up, Herbert. They take away a lot of the parts that I don't enjoy about being an advisor. So that way I can focus on what I do enjoy, helping you.
Yeah.
For sure. No, so awesome. Well, thank you again for everyone that was listening and jumped on our social media as well. This will be saved forever on YouTube, so you can go back and watch it forever, many times, because there's so much to unpack here. And Herbert has been in before. I would definitely check out the previous interview as well. And this will be saved on Facebook for a month.
And I will be in again, hopefully with more resources to deliver all of you. The goal is, around disability insurance. I got a DI guy. That's literally what he calls himself. So I hope he's able to make it in from Des Moines. But then also, I'm hoping to have some cybersecurity talks on here too, because that's really become the next headache. And I know some specialists who would love to speak, and then also personal injury, because you're hearing about a lot of people getting hurt, and they need help, right? Yeah. And I think that could be a really interesting topic for a future conversation when I make it back on.
No, I think that's great. We love anyone who wants to come on that is an expert in their field is amazing.
Oh, maybe I can find the owner of the local Smoothie King, because they just opened one.
Love that too.
I know.
Man, we were talking about smoothies earlier too. Man, this whole day is
maybe they'll bring us a smoothie.
Bring it.
There you go.
I want a smoothie or an orange Julius. I want some cookie dough. That's my plug.
And if we're not open on Sunday, Chick-fil-A.
Awesome. I'll go for that too. God, I'm hungry. Okay. Herbert, you're amazing. For those of you that are in Colorado, of course, utilize his services, but Herbert can help you anywhere you are in the United States. Again, go to farther.com, or you can call 508-978-9995, or you can email him at herbert.kyles, Kyles, at farther.com.
2 first names of the Ness. Kyles. Kyle.
Okay.
Yeah, then you add on an S. So Herbert Kyles.
You're adorable. Okay. You heard it from the man himself.
That's right. And in a half hour, you have one solid hour of our wonderful Colorado music, our Colorado artists. Wow, it's been a long day, everybody. And then, of course, 9 p.m. tonight, another episode of Kind of Vague Radio with Andrew and Rob. So thank you very much for tuning in. Herbert, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to the next time that you come on in. So
it'll be soon.
Appreciate it. Everybody take care. Have an amazing evening. And Yeah, this is K4CO. Thanks for tuning in.